Welcome to the Ricardo del California show. I'm in Santa Catalina Island. I'm here with Shawn Cape of Dive Catalina. Shawn, you are a scuba diver. How long have you been scuba diving, sir?
I started when I was about 19 years old.
Okay, and tell me, here we are in this beautiful Catalina Island.
Yes.
It was founded, shortly after the turn of the century. The Wrigley family, for those of you who don't know, the Wrigley family who owns Wrigley Gum and the Cubs actually built up the island, and they actually built a casino, which is just to my left over here, which is not a gambling casino, but it's more of, I think it means meeting place, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's an incredible movie theater downstairs, and then upstairs is an incredible ballroom, and they do have jazz festivals there, and every year they do the creme de la creme ball there, tuxedos and fancy dresses. But we're here to talk about diving. This is an incredible place to go on vacation to. So you're from Florida. You became a scuba diver, and what initially got you into scuba diving?
Actually, I was in the military. I was a Marine Corps combatant diver.
You were a combat diver?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
How many years did you serve?
20 years.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. So, Semper Fi. Now, so this is even a greater honor day, because as a combat diver, I have to ask you, did you dive before you became a combat diver, sir?
No. I was the Marine Corps put me into the position, and I just kind of stayed there.
So you didn't even ask for it?
No.
Wow. So, as a combat diver, you've been on different missions, I would imagine, in your service?
Not so much. During Desert Shield, we did some stuff with tide tables and whatnot in the Bay of Sidra, but after that, it was all pretty much land warfare, the reconnaissance companies I was with at the time.
So, if you're going to come here, you might as well go with an ex-Marine, because he'll be able to take care of you. And we're going to be going diving today. We're going to see the conditions. I think the conditions there might be a little dicey, right?
A little dicey today,
right.
Yes.
Now, I'm a rescue diver. I have nearly 100 dives over the last 4 years. I'm feeling pretty confident with my skills, but with a combat diver, you're guaranteed success here. So, coming to Catalina, you were already diving in Florida, sir, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so when you were in Florida, Florida is a completely different environment. In my first season, I interviewed a dive boat captain, a retired Philadelphia police officer who owned his own concierge dive business, and we went diving. But that's different. I mean, you're seeing a lot of soft corals. You're seeing a lot of warm tropical fish. You're seeing angelfish. You're seeing tangfish. You're seeing all sorts of different warm marine life there, and then also you're seeing a lot of sea fans. Here, it's different because we're now in cold water diving. I was diving in basically a rash guard and shorts. Here we're in 7mm suits. Although I'm a little insane, I'm in 3mm, but that's okay. I'm in cold water. So the temperatures here in Catalina can range from what to what?
We can see as low as 55 degrees in the wintertime, with the high peak temperature in the summer is up to 75. Right now, the water temperature is about 72 on the surface and 67 or so at depth. So it's actually really quite comfortable.
Right. So when we come down here, you're going to be immersed in kelp beds. And one of the things, and I've been here like 4 or 5 times, when you're in the kelp beds and you're looking up, the heavens kind of come through and all that light's coming into the forest. And it's almost, there's no heavenly choir, but for me there is. It's an incredible thing. The fish species we're going to see down there are, what are we going to see?
Oh, well, the Channel Islands in general, we have over 800 varieties of marine life. So in the park, you're going to get a really good cross-section. Right off the bat, you're going to see the calico bass, the California state fish, the Garibaldi.
The orange.
The orange fish, yes. Also, lots of blacksmith out there, which are a cousin to the Garibaldi. We've got...
Those are like small blue fish.
The small blue, yes, with the little yellow towards their tail. We've got opaleye perch, half-moon perch, sargo, tiger perch, zebra perch. I mean, we've got eels, octopus, sea urchins, sea cucumbers, a whole lot of things. We have a...
Different from land cucumbers.
Very much. They're not as crunchy. But they are briny.
They are briny, yeah.
So one of the best things about Catalina in general is that our ecosystem is incredibly healthy. We're always getting fresh water coming in from the North Pacific, circling around the island, versus the coastal areas of California, which are getting bashed by tides and whatnot, not every day. Not so much today, however, where it's a little rougher out there today.
It is rough out today. One of the things that makes this natural habitat so incredible is obviously it's federally protected. It's roped off for the dive park. The dive park, for those of you who do scuba dive and do shore diving, this is simple. We go down some steps. If it's a calm day, you just float out about 200 feet and we drop down to about 40, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
Today it could be a little dicey, so we might have to flush out with the tide. Now, when you go in there, what's really interesting is for some people that have never scuba dived, people that see this video today, tomorrow, whatever, years to come, like, I don't even know how to scuba dive. That's not a problem because this guy.
We do introductory dives. We have that for novice divers, people who've never even been in the water before. They come from all over the world to dive the kelp forest with us. We'll get you geared up, we get you out there, we give a good solid briefing. We go over the equipment with you so you know what you're going to get into, and then we take you on a solid dive, no deeper than 40 feet. And they last between 20 and 40 minutes. And you're going to see the kelp forest, you're going to see all the fish that we can possibly muster for you. And you're going to have a really good time.
Right, and one of the things that's really cool down there is they have these really cool, I don't know if we'll see it today, but they have these yellow Gorgonian sea fans, and they're super bright. Hopefully we'll see one today. The other thing is there is a plaque that was at the bottom of the casino point, and again, it's called Casino Point because the dive park's really just behind the casino, and the dive park, it's a plaque for him.
Yes.
Right, and that's how I got into scuba diving. I used to watch Jack Cousteau's Underwater World as a child, and it wasn't until, years later that I decided to go scuba diving. The craziest thing was, and I didn't know that I think you've taken people down there that can't swim on the scuba trip.
Oh yeah.
How is that even possible? I mean, yes, you can inflate their BCD, which is the best.
Well, the way I look at it is swimming is a person forcing themselves to stay on the surface without any assistance.
Yes.
Scuba diving, to paraphrase Buzz Lightyear, is sinking with style. So it really,
right.
Other than being in the water, that's the only thing that swimming and scuba have in common.
Right. So going down there and you go take somebody for the first time, never
Yes.
even considered it. They're like here, they're with their family, they're alone, whatever, they're with their girlfriend, they're like, do this. When people come out of the water for the first time, because it is an incredible rush to be down there. It's one thing to be on Animal Planet and seeing this as somebody is, perusing through a kelp forest or going through the Great Barrier Reef. And when they come out of the water, what is the common things that you will hear from these people?
Oh, right off the bat, it's wow. It is such a wow factor. Being in the kelp, especially on a nice calm day where the kelp is straight up, even for experienced divers, mind you. I mean, I say this a lot. I can't say it enough. Is most diving around the world, off boats, off the shore, it's a 1 or 2 dimensional dive. You're in the water, you're looking down, you look left, you look right, you find the anchor, you go back up to the boat. Here in the kelp forest, it's incredibly different. As divers, we get asked all the time, well, how deep did you dive? And we say 60 feet. And people go, wow. And we're like, 60 feet. Because we don't have that perspective. The kelp forest changes that. Where I use this analogy where if you're in 60 feet of water and you're 10 feet off the bottom on a nice calm day, and you're in the kelp forest and it's all standing up, you can turn and look up the kelp, and it's just like looking up these palm trees. That's what 50 feet looks like.
Yeah.
And it gives you that perspective of being in the water, and it's a 3-dimensional aspect of diving that is really kind of unique to this area, to any kelp forest area.
Right, and the thing about here is again, it's because it's protected, you're not going to have oil from boats. You're not going to have a lot of top surface action going on that's going to kind of disturb the dive. I think another thing about what's incredible here about being out in Catalina is it's more than diving though, because if you come here, you could come here for the day. You could take the Catalina Express out of San Pedro, out of Dana Point, out of Long Beach, come here for the day and explore, which you've had people come, or you could come for a weekend, stay at one of the lovely hotels. I'm a big fan of the Pavilion in Atwater, but they're probably 2 best ones on the island, give or take. But there's zip lining here, and there's also a botanical garden. There's actually bison on the island. You can actually, people who want to do the Catalina trek and go 26 miles all the way to Two Harbors, a little village over there, and come back, it's 50 miles round trip. You got to get a permit. That's really good too. Now, one of the things I love to do when I come out here is I like to go to the botanical gardens. It's like maybe a 6-mile round trip up to the Wrigley Memorial for Mr. Wrigley, who again owned the Cubs. He's not there, but they have a mausoleum up there, and there's incredible natural desert California garden. For a small fee, you can go up there. What is it like for you when you? I just went the other day. What is it like? Tell our guests if they want to come here and just do a small hike, like something that kind of Catalina.
All kinds of nice hiking. Actually, almost right across the street here at the trailhead, they could give you a lot more information than I could. But yeah, the hiking here is really nice. The weather's pretty spectacular right now. And it doesn't really get that cold in the wintertime. We're looking at, in the wintertime, maybe, again, just like the water, 55 to 60 degrees, which really is a very mild winter. And even then, by the afternoon, you're looking at low to mid 60s. So very comfortable. And the hiking here is really nice. We got something for every level of hiker here.
They do. And I think what another thing is really great, it's great cuisine. There's live music. You do karaoke here at the Galleon. Especially in the summer, they have concert series. This weekend they had the ABBA tribute. So yes, Dancing Queen was played this weekend. The other thing is, let's just say that you don't live in California, but you want to come out here. If you ever take a cruise, like they do that Ensenada Catalina cruise that they can get on Carnival, you're out here. Those people are here for like 12 hours. Some of those people jump off the boat and come here, right?
Yeah, the boats start unloading, I guess, about 9 o'clock, and everybody's back in line by 4 to 5 o'clock, depending what time the boats leave. We do get Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and occasionally we get a Disney boat in here. Yeah, we get quite a few, actually.
Yeah, which is great. So if people who are on a cruise ship and want to come to Catalina and want to get a dive in, it's definitely.
Yes.
Here's the kicker. They haven't raised their prices where other shops have, and it's still a very reasonable price to come here. You don't even have to bring anything but a pair of swim trunks and a towel because you supply
everything.
So that includes the wetsuit, the BCD, which is a device that inflates and deflates, the weights, the scuba tank, your regulator, gloves, fins. If you want to wear a hoodie, actually you don't even need to wear a hoodie most of the time.
No.
Okay. Have you ever had anybody dive here in just swim trunks and a rash guard?
We see it on occasion. A lot of the guys, a lot of the dive pros here, we're so used to the water that when we need a cool off, we'll just grab a tank and a regulator and just jump in.
All right.
And we look like torpedoes under the water.
I actually did that in Hawaii. They thought I was nuts, even though most of the divers had 3 mils. I dive in like a wetsuit that's for like surfing because I'm in cold water a lot. So I practice the Wim Hof method, deep breathing, cold water immersion. Now, I think one of the great things about being here in Catalina Island is its sense of serenity. The island life, and that's what this interview is about. Not just about diving. Living on an island, you came from a very beautiful place. I think you said you were in Arizona for a time.
Yeah.
So you went from tropical, desert, back to, the Mediterranean feel. People that live here, right?
Yes.
You're living on this island. What is it like to live the island life?
It's quiet. For myself, I know there are people here who definitely put the moniker of living in paradise, and it's really not bad. I love the fact that it's low crime, it's a quiet community, all the things you would imagine, small town living and all that kind of stuff. It's not without its detractors, though. I mean, as far as creature comforts here, if you wanted to go buy any clothing on the island for yourself, well, as long as it says Catalina, you'll be good. If you want to be reminded of where you live, you can shop here for clothes. If you needed furniture, if you needed a lot of other things, it's not here on the island, so you actually have to go over to the mainland for it. Granted, it's only an hour away, but some things, if you want to buy a new couch or whatever to decorate your place, it's a little bit more work for sure.
A little bit. Now, the other thing that's interesting here, as far as the grocery store, they upgraded the Vons.
They did.
You get everything you need at Vons. There's medical services on the island. I mentioned there's doctors.
Yep.
There's a fire station. LAPD. Those guys got it paid, right? Usually it's more the guys going to retire, but it's a very safe place to be. It's a family environment, and I noticed the people that work here, and I've been here probably nearly 10 times. I love coming here at least every Labor Day or so. Everybody here is mostly relaxed.
Well, kind of the California thing in general is to be kind of that laid back, but this is California times 10. So you're out here. It's the island life. We're a little bit slower here, a little bit easier going. We don't stress out as much. We drive golf carts, for God's sakes.
I think it takes 12 years to get your car on the island.
Okay, yeah, the car thing is funny here. It's actually about a 20-year waiting list.
20 years?
In order for a car to come on, one has to leave.
Leave?
Yep, because we can't have any more vehicles on the island.
So, it's like a one in, one out. Pal.
One in, one out. And what happens is people will get pregnant and they will put their prospective kids' names on the list. So if you see an actual automobile on the island, like a full-size vehicle, the smart cars and things like that don't necessarily count. But if you see a full-size car on the island, that person was probably born here or their grandparents were.
Right.
So it's status.
I mean, and some of these hotels and some of these houses are here for close to 200 years.
Well, 120 anyway.
120, not 200.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything exists from that long. Being here on an island, right, California times 10, it's a little slower in some ways, but you can still get everything you need. Amazon still delivers here?
Just a day later.
2-day delivery from Amazon. All right, so I think one of the things that keeps me coming back, again, I've been here 9 times. I think I've been with you guys 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
Is the concierge service that you're going to give with Dive Catalina. They take care of you. They make sure everything you need is at the shop. They get you geared up. And now it does look like you're obviously not going to carry all this dive gear down to the casino. So he has this really cool. It's not. It's beyond a golf cart. What do we call your vehicle?
It is a Kawasaki Mule,
Yeah.
UTV.
So we get down there fast, right? So you go to the dive shop or set up, go down there, make sure everything is fit, all the air is working, and you're going to go enter into paradise in Davy Jones's locker below. So it's an incredible experience. So if you want to come to Catalina and have a unique experience, come to Dive Catalina and dine and dive here. But please come to Dive Catalina. Sir, thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thanks again for watching the Ricardo del California Show. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.